All right, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about, should I buy a house or land as a real estate investment? So I've actually done both. The first one I ever bought was a house in 2007. I had this house until I finally sold it in 2019 for the same exact price that I bought it for in 2007. But let me walk you through the journey from 2007 to 2019. In 2007, I was 21 years old. I paid $123,000 for this house. I took out a $10,000 line of credit and fixed this house up. Had to repair the septic system, some other additional items, the water heater, the water pump. So I made a ton of repairs, and then my mortgage was $750 a month the entire time I had this house, which that included my principal, my interest, my taxes, my insurance, and I rented it out for $950 a month. So do the math. So that's $200 a month net positive with a tenant. Well, there was a lot of times where this house was vacant. I ended up doing 2 evictions over the years. It was trashed multiple times. I actually never ever turned a profit the entire time I had this house. But it did give me one thing and one thing only, well, 2 things. Experience, what not to do. And then number 2, it gave me a tax write-off all those years that I owned it. But when I sold it, something called recapture happened because the government wanted to get all those taxes that I wrote off back unless I 1031 tax exchanged it. Well, I had just found out about 1031 tax exchanges back then. I got hit with recapture. So basically that house cost me a lot of money over these years. Let me talk about my first land deal in 2016 as a real estate investment. So I found this land. It was on the tax delinquent list. It was actually the county held tax delinquent list. I mailed these people a postcard. If you want a copy of this postcard, go to thelandsharks.com/postcard. Well, I mailed 687 people on the county held tax lien list. And this land was sucky. Like, it was not buildable, not accessible, landlocked, sometimes too small to build on. So really the land was worthless in most people's eyes. So I sent out this postcard that said, hey, my name's Brent. I'd like to buy your land in El Paso County, Colorado. And if you're interested in an all cash fair price offer, call me or text me. God bless you. Well, my phone rang like 20 times. These people wanted to sell desperately. So the first guy that sold to me, he sold to me for $285. And I ended up finding a real estate agent to buy that land from me for $5,000. It was honestly just dumb luck. I went to look at the land, had no clue what it was worth. I called the real estate office that was closest by and I said, hey, what's this land worth? What would you sell it for me for? And she ended up telling me about $10,000 and my mind was blown. I was like, holy cow. So most people were buying land on speculation because the city was gonna build a road over the railroad tracks and allow building on this land eventually. Eventually, they still haven't done it. It's been many years now since 2016 and they still haven't built that road. So long story short, this realtor offers me $5,000 and can close the next week. At that time, I was making like $4,200 a month and I was working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, preparing for my 3rd combat deployment to Afghanistan. So $5,000 extra to me was like literally winning the lottery. And I had maybe a couple hours time involved in this. So I was like, sure, we got a deal. So that was my first best real estate investment that actually paid me money. Now I had rentals at the time. I had bought a few more rentals from 2007 to 2016, but this was nothing I could quit my job for. Like, I literally had something break every single month on these rentals. But this first land deal paid me immediately. Now, granted, let's just say I paid $300. I paid $285 for this land. So what's 5,000 minus 300? So 49, 48 first. I made $4,700 with a couple hours of work. Let's talk about the second land deal I did. You can't tell by now, I prefer land over houses. Now, I've had my fair share of houses. I fixed up quite a few houses. I still have rental houses. This is just a disclaimer, and I absolutely hate them. I'm actually in the process of selling every single one of them and trading into either land or light industrial buildings where I can do a triple net lease, where I can get a triple net lease tenant. These are way more sophisticated tenants. Their business relies on these buildings and they never ask for anything. Honestly, the only thing I gotta pay is principal and interest. The tenants pay the insurance, the tenants pay the taxes. So, and then they do all the repairs as well. But the things that make me money, the deals that make me money are vacant raw land. Let me tell you about my second land deal. The second one was a couple weeks after that first one. It was in 2016. By the way, I had a newborn baby, a new marriage, and I had just moved across the country with the Army. So a lot of new was happening in my life. So this extra money was just invaluable at the time. And now I've been able to quit and leave the Army because of this passive income from vacant land investing, raw land. Guys, nothing has been done to this land. Most of the time, there's not even a driveway or an address on this land. So it's the easiest, fastest, most affordable way to start investing in real estate right away. So the second deal I bought for $500. The lady's husband had passed away. He was a stock trader, and then he picked up this piece of land, and it was a couple acres next to Fort Carson, Colorado. I bought it for $500. I put it on Craigslist. I took some photos, and I said I wanted $500 down to get my money back out of the deal, put my money back in my pocket, and have basically no risk. And then I wanted $400 a month. I sold that one for $5,000 too. By the next day, Sunday, someone brought me $500 to my house, and we signed a contract for deed, which is basically a land contract saying if you pay every single month for the next, 11 months, $400 a month, and a total of $5 grand for this land, it's yours. I'll transfer the deed in your name. So that $400 a month paid my truck payment. I had a paradigm shift that day. Well, it was probably weeks later. I'm a slow learner, but I told my wife, Emily, I was like, if we keep doing this just 10 more times, if we do this 10 more times, we're completely financially free. Because I was only making $4,200 a month back then. So if I covered all my payments, all my bills, my truck payment, my house payment, my diaper bills, the formula bills, whatever, baby food, all that stuff, electric bill, I can quit my job. And guess what happened? May 2018, I have not had a real job since May 2018. So when you ask me, should I buy land or a house as my first real estate investment? Hands down, by far, land is the most easiest, affordable, quickest way to get started in real estate. I hope you take me up on this challenge. Go out there and buy a land deal today. Find a landowner today that wants to sell you a piece of land at a discount, and go out there and sell it for what it's worth. How do you know what it's worth? Guys, I have so many more videos on my YouTube channel on how to figure out what things are worth. I share what softwares I'm using. If you want to book a call with me, it's not going to cost you a penny. Go to thelandsharks.com or just keep watching my videos.